Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted Armenian and Azerbaijani leaders on Monday in their first post-war talks since a peace agreement halted 6 weeks of fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh. And Putin said that the peace agreement has successfully been implemented, laying the foundation for fair settlement of conflict. He also thanked Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan for their cooperation during mediation efforts that were aimed at stopping the bloodshed and stabilizing the situation in the conflicted region. Putin further said that it was time to now discuss the next steps in the peace agreement. He also said that senior officials from Armenia, Azerbaijan and Russia will set up a working group to discuss specific moves related to the restoration of transport routes in the region. The leaders then signed a joint statement on the development of the situation in this region.
Сегодняшнюю встречу считаю исключительно важной и полезной, поскольку мы смогли договориться и подписали совместное заявление по поводу развития ситуации в регионе. Имея в виду конкретные шаги по строительству экономических связей, развитию инфраструктурных проектов.
Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said that they are yet to resolve issues related to exchanges of prisoners of war over the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Pashinyan said that Armenia was ready to discuss the status of Nagorno-Karabakh. However, he maintained that the exchange of prisoners of war still had to be resolved. The three countries have agreed to set up the first working group meeting on January 30th.
Не удалось решить вопрос военнопленных, и это самый чувствительный и болезненный вопрос, потому что это гуманитарный вопрос, и мы договорились, что будем продолжать работу по этому направлению, но мы считаем, в частности, что конкретно 8-й пункт нашего совместного заявления, к сожалению, не полностью.
Nearly 6,000 soldiers on both sides have died in fighting over the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh before Russia brokered a truce on November 10th. Armenia withdrew from several Azerbaijani regions it had occupied for nearly 3 decades under the deal, which is being now overseen by Russian peacekeepers in the region. We are now being joined by political analyst Dmitry Babich from Moscow for more on this. Thank you so much for joining us. Senior officials from Armenia, Azerbaijan and Russia will set up a working group to discuss specific moves related to restoration of transport routes in the region. Could you tell us a little bit about these talks?
Well, it's important that these talks took place and that they took place in Moscow. Obviously, 2,000 Russian peacekeepers will be operating in that area. Transportation routes will resume working, and the hope is that they even better than before the war. Because before the war, Armenia occupied area of Nagorno-Karabakh, and there was just absolutely no transportation between Armenia proper and Azerbaijan. Armenia became kind of an island, isolated from the region. So if, as a result of these talks, Armenia breaks its blockade, if there is a normal transportation between Armenia and Azerbaijan, that would be a tremendous achievement. And I think this is what Putin wants to achieve by organizing this meeting, because Russia is interested in Armenia and Azerbaijan making peace between themselves. We need Armenia and Azerbaijan for our transportation routes to Asia, to Europe, to Turkey. As you know, we have tremendous problems with the European Union. We have problems with the so-called Nord Stream 2. You know, the European Union and the United States are opposed to that project. So if we can join the big world via Armenia and Azerbaijan, that would be a success for everyone.
All right. Also, as mentioned by Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, they are yet to resolve issues related to exchanges of prisoners of war over Nagorno-Karabakh. What can we expect in that regard?
I think both sides are interested in having all of their people back home with them. The number of prisoners, the number of prisoners who have not yet been returned is not huge. I think we're talking about dozens of persons here. Most of the fighting in this terrible war was done by drones. It was done at a distance. Yes, maybe there are still some POWs not returned. I think they will be returned because it's in the interest of both sides, not to keep people hostage, but just to give them back to their relatives.
Also, another point here is that Putin has said that the peace agreement has successfully been implemented, laying the foundation for settlement of conflict. How do you assess that?
Well, I think this is very important because, as you know, the fighting has been very bitter. Both sides had a very high motivation. There were at least several thousand people dead. Azerbaijan itself, despite having a technical superiority, lost more than 2,000 men in this combat. So the fact that there is obviously no serious fighting going on anymore, this already is a success. But if you look at the map, most of the territory that Azerbaijan gets, it's not Nagorno-Karabakh proper, it's the area around it, where Azerbaijanis have been living for centuries. So if refugees are returned to these regions, if normal life restarts there, that would be a huge boon for everyone, because this was a wasteland for 30 years, since the start of the conflict in 87.
All right, Mr. Dmitry Babich, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.